which was we would go into places if any employee reported as being sick or having symptoms or, a positive test.
Welcome to the Business Owner Spotlight.
AudateMedia. I'm super excited today because I have Ramsey Venner. Is it Venner?
Venner.
Yep. Like, when I saw your last name, I said Venner, like white.
Right.
It makes sense. Clean
Right.
freak.
Yep.
White, like that purity.
Oh,
Venner.
I like that. Yeah,
You like
that. I see what you did right there.
Yeah.
That's nice. Quality.
Super excited to have him. He's a serial entrepreneur with multiple
Serial.
businesses. And I actually had dinner with him yesterday, and we were talking about his businesses, and I said, hey, man, you got to give value to the audience on our show. So super excited to have you here on the show, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me out.
So tell me a little bit about your background. Now I see that you own Clean Freak Janitorial.
Yes, sir.
And then you have a trucking business.
SNF
and then you also
Advance.
help SNF, what did you say?
SNF Advance.
And then you also have a Airbnb management company.
Yes, sir. Valentine. Well, actually, that's where we do all of our real estate holdings. Valentine Management Group. We are Airbnb management. As far as any real estate properties that we bring on for the overall marketing in the empire, all are controlled through SNF. I mean, for Valentine. Sorry.
So let me ask you a question. Why have multiple businesses?
Why not?
That's a good question.
I mean, one revenue stream is too close to none.
That's good. You should quote that.
What we do is, as a family and as we're building out our unit and our legacy, we are not building for today. We're not trying to just have jobs. We're trying to have an empire. We're trying to have a legacy. So all of our businesses, SNF Advance, are named after our kids, Shiloh and Francis. Valentine Management Group is after Georgia Valentine Venner. That's our fourth child, and fifth is Frances, so she got hers. The other two, Isis and Juliet, weren't around in the conception. I got 5 kids.
5 kids.
For now.
So you got more? You want more?
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that you said last night that was pretty intriguing. You said, "Hey, like the amount of businesses has to match up with the kids."
I mean,
with the kids,
truly,
is that true?
That's not the only ratio. I would not, and I mean, I've read a lot of success quotes and self-help books that say that the more businesses that you can have yourself in, the better. Why limit yourself by saying, okay, I run one business, I run 2 businesses? That's that's smaller thinking. I believe, our former president has his hands in over 100 different legit, thriving, multi-million-dollar businesses. And even if you're not in the business as the chief managing partner or, the 51% owner, even if you purchase, stocks and shares in the stock market, you're legit a business owner in a different fashion. So purchasing companies and actually maximizing the way you facilitate the holdings of your money, your cash. That's business ownership, and that creates generational wealth, and that's what we're about.
And I think that's really profound where you mentioned that word generational wealth.
Yeah.
Not only are you setting up your businesses under their names, but you created it. Is it in different entities that they're
different in different categories. We have basically all non-essential businesses. What the pandemic showed us is that what we needed to do was to put ourselves in position that we could continue to thrive instead of being beholden to a job, instead of being beholden to the conditions of the market or even what's going on in the country. During the pandemic, pre-pandemic, like January, February of 19 or 20, we were, doing okay, but we were...
In which business?
In Clean Freak Janitorial. We were out just, trying to figure out how to build a company, how to, get our products on a regular and consistent basis. Our vendors were like, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like, we had to go and court them.
Yeah.
So the pandemic hit, everybody shut down. I was not of that mindset.
To shut down?
To shut down, no. We actually serviced a lot of doctors and essential work, classes. That allowed us to stay open because we had to continue servicing them. So when everybody shut down, we stayed open. We ended up being like one of the only games in town. So instead of packing it up and cutting my people's hours, Everybody that was having part-time went to full-time. Everybody that was, making our minimum at whatever the training wage was, we ended up boosting them across the board. We gave raises to everybody in our employ. So our company and our business and our position, our market share actually tripled in the time during the pandemic because we provided, innovative services. We made Corona Touch Team. We made.
What's an example of the innovative service?
So a lot of places that wanted to stay open because we didn't know the true gravity of the pandemic, right? The CDC was coming out with new information. All of the different, organizations that were basically supposed to be in control of what we were looking at in the pandemic, no one had a clear answer. So the CDC would give guidance. The American Medical Association would give guidance. Right.
Touch points of data coming in.
Right. And no one knows for sure. And there's not a single voice like Fauci was out there, but even there was another czar that they appointed, and there was another person that came in, and each one of these different opinions basically changed the guidance on how it was supposed to be handled. We studied, we stayed in our books, we learned everything that we could about which products were effective. When information came out about which products would work against the COVID and how to counteract it, we studied up, we trained our people in it, and we created the Corona Touch Team, which was we would go into places if any employee reported as being sick or having symptoms or, a positive test. We would go in, disinfect the entire place, make it, safe for people to inhabit it, and, with the mask, gloves, all of our PPE and everything like that. And from there, a lot of businesses that otherwise would have had to shut down were able to stay open. So
did your team have to go into essentially hazmat suits?
It wasn't that serious
was it that
because
scary in the beginning?
Well, initially, the reaction, the global reaction was that it was something that serious. Personally, I didn't buy into it to that degree because when you look at what's happening on the ground, and I'm talking about we're in the cleaning business, right? So all of the questions about how serious or how deadly this thing was, allegedly, we didn't really see that in our in-location experiences. Like even people that got sick, got over it and got back to work. So it wasn't like, for instance, we watched Outbreak. When Outbreak happened, people had Ebola. They were bleeding out the face and everything like that.
That's not really how it was.
And the reaction was equal to the reaction that they should have had in Outbreak, right?
So what was the most challenging portion as far as growing your business in the middle of the pandemic? Not the actual fulfillment, or more so on the client acquisition portion?
Client acquisition wasn't that hard. I mean, it was an easy sell. We had a product that people wanted. Yeah, we like for the first time, basically, in the history, like if you think about running your business and you are a business owner too with, the overhead that you experience, probably around the 15th, 17th, 19th item that you would spend money on is to get professional cleaning services in your place, because you can either have your interns, your low-level employees, your desk person, do the cleaning for you. So before they would usually have another person just take care of that responsibility. Well, with the spotlight being shined on the need for professional cleaning services,
your business grew during the pandemic.
We popped. We tripled business. We, gave raises. We gave everybody full-time schedules. We grew out of one office into a new office. We ended up having the ability to get a couple of vehicles for our fleet. So now we provided the opportunity for our folks to be able to travel and get to different and more locations so we could service a wider area.
When we look post-COVID, coming out of the pandemic, has business dwindled or has business maintained because your account stayed the same?
A couple of our major clients have stepped down their treatment and their services, but what has happened is that being in a lot of those places gave us access to other, things. Now, me as an entrepreneur, once you let me in the door, I'm trying to upsell and figure out what else there is, what other services we could provide. So places that may have only wanted us for COVID treatment, we ended up being regular janitorial services for them. Places that wanted us as, just janitorial service, we upsell with the COVID and other treatment. We expanded our offerings to say we can now do carpets, we can do VCT tile, we can do window treatments, and, capacity grows to what we can handle. Right now, we just completed post-construction cleanup on a Storage One facility, which is 100,000 square feet. We did, their
So
powder
you
puff,
use
rough clean, and then
COVID
the final clean as well.
an entry point. You use COVID as an entry point in the
It was a
grocery
blessing.
business. And then now you're servicing them, and then they're like, hey, we're ready to let this go. Thank you so much. And then you're like, hey, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me share with you what else we can offer you long term.
Well, a lot of them, once we were there and they saw our diligence and our commitment to service, every person that we contracted and done business with, the clients reach out to me on a first name basis. So, once they saw how serious and dedicated we are to our craft, and the actual product that we presented, our team is well trained, they're well dressed, they don't come into your place, and we don't have a track record of people engaging in theft or just basically wasting time on the job. We're efficient, we're effective, we go in, we do what we're supposed to do, we leave your place better than than it was when we got there, and we leave the place smelling good, looking good, so when you come in on your Monday, it's a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? All you have to worry about is getting to work. That peace of mind.
So why start Clean
Stayed
Freak
over.
in the beginning, in the first place?
In the first place,
What was the reasoning behind that?
My reasoning was that, I was a certified personal trainer for NASM, and I worked for 24-Hour Fitness, and their sales technique was to just post me up at the front of the store and say, go harass anybody who's working out and tell them they're doing something wrong. And I mean, no shade on 24-Hour Fitness, but they're out of business. So at the end of the day, that didn't fit my character. I don't mind approaching, I don't mind trying to help people, and I got into personal training because I love working out, I love fitness, but I couldn't duplicate my efforts in others. For every hour that I wanted to make $1, I had to be there actually working with the person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then what's all the downside is that if you have grown people that are calling you, I'm sick, I can't make it to training. I'm like, bro, you paid for it. Like, you don't have to lie to me.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, if you want to come, you don't want to come.
So why start Clean Freak in the first place?
In the first place, I liked the opportunity that it was a simple business that I understood. It's a recession-proof business. Maybe you'll have.
But was that before the pandemic?
Sure.
So were you sitting down and you said, hey, like, let me look at different business options? Is that how it went down, or how did that?
I was looking for something that I could get into with a low overhead. I didn't need a bunch of technical knowledge to pull it off, and like the barrier of entry is way low to just get into janitorial. A lot of families that were my competition in the initial stages, that's what they do. They just go and clean as a family, places, buildings. Your sales game is one thing, but the actual work to get it done is not hard to do. And my estimation was that I could teach this to anyone. So again, where you have an abundance of labor force.
So you had already known that you wanted a business that you could duplicate yourself without you having to be there.
Yeah.
Did you have challenges? Is it just 24-Hour Fitness where you said, hey man, look, I can't make money unless I work here?
I worked like from the age of 14. So I had a healthy work ethic, but what I was looking at getting into adulthood, the level of success that I want for myself could not be achieved from me just going to punch a clock and somebody telling me what I was worth.
Gotcha.
That was the main thing. So I had to start some kind of a business. I didn't know framework-wise what it would be, how big I could grow it, if it was something I could even be successful in. But I knew that for where I wanted to be in my life, success-wise, going to get a paycheck, that wasn't it.
Got it.
So I started.
So you knew that you wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, it had to be.
When I look at entrepreneur stories, I see something in their youth that has happened where they're like, hey, like for me, my dad couldn't afford Nike Air Forces. So I went and got, a shovel snow, created a lemonade stand. I got my $160 for the Nike Air Forces. But then I said, hey, it's my money now. I don't want to buy them anymore.
Right.
But I knew that, hey, I could actually produce my own income, and that's what kickstarted it for me to run businesses.
Nice.
What was your experience?
I just always had a taste for, like, so we were dirt poor. Let me say that first off. Like my mom and my dad split in like 1986, and I'm dating myself, but 1986, and we did not have a charmed life. It was like, a little bit above the poverty level from what I can remember. But it didn't really bother me because there was love.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thing where I was like,
did you know
we're
that you were
hella
poor?
poor. Well, no, yeah, because my cousins got new stuff. I got their old stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
My cousins got new stuff during Christmas or, like close to Christmas. A lot of families are Jehovah's Witness. They got new items and toys and stuff like that. Maybe I got stuff, but it wouldn't be on the same level, right?
Got it.
I kind of could see that, we weren't doing the same things. They came, their like homes were mother and father. It was just me and my mom. So again, like you can glean from your surroundings where you fit in the socioeconomic basically ladder.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, we're not really doing good, but it's cool. Mom loves us. So, my eyes got a little bit more keen to what other opportunities were out there. And I started taking a look around. Nothing ever manifested though till like college, basically. College is when I got involved with football and got a full ride scholarship to Fresno State. That put me in the league with like different kinds of people. Like a lot of people came from poverty.
It seemed like even back then you had a sense of excellence.
For
you to play football at that level, in comparison to your peers, you had a sense of excellence already.
Well, again, a hard work ethic has been in me, but it's a blessing to say I would be remiss to not say that you can't teach 6'6".
Yeah.
You can't teach 240, 250. You know what I mean? So I was blessed with physical gifts, and then that coupled with wanting to work for it a little bit, and I started learning like there's a difference between just being big and gifted or naturally talented or developing skills. Developing skills comes from putting the work in. So I got on the field because I was a giant, but I couldn't stay playing unless I stayed working on my craft.
Gotcha. Man, that's so profound to I think when sometimes when people say, hey, I have a gift, they don't think that they have to work hard.
Oh, no, that's it.
But you're saying like, no, even with your gift, you have to actually mold it and craft.
The gift is the beginning. And let me tell you,
okay, good.
I'm going to tell you, any one of my peer groups and my cousins especially, when they see this, they're probably going to laugh at this part. Like, I was big, and for a long time, big for no reason. Like, I didn't have coordination. I didn't have, like, the ability to, like, use my big body because I grew gangly and tall before, like, I had a handle on it. So for a long time, I didn't really think that they were gifts. I didn't look at my physical person as an asset. I looked at it like, hey, man, I'm just clumsy, I'm big, you know what I mean? But once you get involved with sports and this is what I was engineered for.
When you were younger, did your size, affect you emotionally in comparison to the others?
Not emotion. I got a lot of like harassment for it because again, I was big and not like, when you see an athlete has like honed in there, like you're in touch with yourself. You're in touch with your physical person to say, I know what I can do with my body.
Yeah.
Before you learn that, it's like a baby giraffe. You know what I mean? When they first come out and they're all over the place, right? So that was me for a lot of years until I started working on being good at anything.
So your height and your width and your essentially your size wasn't easy to begin with. To manage.
It was more cumbersome than anything. And then, I mean, think about it this way. So I'm growing faster than my peer group. I'm not coordinated, so that's like a challenge. And then
you want to play football?
I wasn't playing football at all. I didn't play football until high school.
Okay, gotcha.
In fact, I could have been a receiver the very first time I walked out for like a scouting team or something like that, like Pop Warner. I had no idea or concept about the different positions. So the coach told me to go line up at one of the receiver spots, and I didn't know where to go. I was like, and he was like, man, just be a lineman. And that was it. From then on, I was a defensive lineman or offensive lineman. I was actually pretty better as being an offensive lineman. But
so you said you were sharing about your clothes.
Yeah, so you're gangly, you're tall, you're not really coordinated, and then you're outgrowing everything around you. So now my clothes aren't fitting. So as far as emotional, it got emotional because I was getting cracked on always. I'm super eyeball out of everything, but I found I was the only child really, so I found a lot of refuge in seeking knowledge. I always was seeking information on how to be different or better or to change my situation or my circumstances or, I like to read. I like to do a lot of solitary activities because I didn't have really, after we moved to Texas. I didn't have like a circle of friends like that.
So you were in Fresno, then you went to Texas?
No, sir. Born in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Oh,
we
Florida.
moved to Houston, Texas in 1986. Moved back to Florida, and then I went to California in 1990.
What was the purpose of going to Cali?
Was ready for a new life.
So you were an adult at that point?
No. So my mom and dad were together at my birth. 86, dad went to Hawaii, mom went to Texas.
So you went with your mom in Texas?
Went with my mom. In I guess it was 1990, we went back to Florida, right? We went back to Florida. My dad went to California. So it was me and my mom in Florida. My dad went to California. Now 93 comes around. This is after graduation out of middle school. My mom wanted to go back to Texas, and I had basically we've been there, did this already.
Yeah.
And my dad was in California, so I'm like, well, Dad, what's up? You know what I mean? And he was like, yeah, come on, let's go. So
Gotcha.
I got on a plane and came to Oakland, California.
Gotcha. And then that's where you grew up? Is that majority?
I mean,
where
the
you
high school, yeah.
The high school portion?
All my high school years, I'm an Oakland Tech graduate.
Then when did you come to Vegas? Because we're in Vegas now.
And came to Vegas in 2018.
2000. Also, very recently in the
Yes,
last
sir.
couple of years.
Yes, sir.
And why Vegas?
I was getting in a whole lot of trouble in Reno.
Gotcha.
And was like, I'm not gonna keep, going through this cycle. Like, I was incarcerated, got out, started trying to get myself together, but was still dealing with like depression from not playing football at the pro level, and didn't have the wherewithal to like kind of sum it up or to figure out what was really wrong with me. So the last time I got in trouble for like a big stretch, and I was like, yeah, they can keep me forever if I keep this up. So
Vegas was like a new fresh start for you.
Basically, yes.
Gotcha.
I willed away from that life, willed away from that lifestyle, determined that I wasn't going to go back and give them another shot at me. I wasn't going to lose another day to the system. And, came out here with basically my hair on fire. In the time that I was incarcerated, I got my college degree, learned to read, write, and speak in German. I learned how to play the piano. I mean, like I did a lot of things basically to put myself, I wrote and published a book from prison as well.
Awesome.
So took no breaks, man. Just got real focused and said that my life on the next attempt is going to be a lot better than everything that I've done thus far.
So you moved to Vegas, and now you're starting businesses, you're getting married, you're having your kids.
Yes, sir.
So it's like your life just completely flipped around and on its axle.
But that's what happens, though. That's how it happens. You make a decision and you follow through.
So you make a decision and then you follow through on the decision. Now, were you nervous in taking a leap like that?
100%. Well, I didn't just like, okay, I'm gonna get out and start a bit. Well, actually, I did. I wrote my whole life out in prison. I started like reading self-help stuff like Think and Grow Rich. I read The Millionaire Next Door. I read The Millionaire Mind, the complete Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. I read so much information, and I would take it all in, but not just to say I read this book. I would synthesize and process that information and like try to put legit plans down. I had a binder like this when I got out of everything that I wanted to do. I marked my first 100 days. What was it going to be like? And I made my wife up in my plan what she was going to look like, what her job was going to be, what her, I even mentioned that she'd probably have 1 or 2 kids when we met, because for where I would be in my life, I figured she would have to have a little bit of experience. She would have to be a good mother, because this is a person that I want to complete my circle with. I put it all on paper, bro. And from day one when I got out, I started working on my plan. Just working on my plan, revisiting it.
So what happens when you're working on your plan and you get punched in the face with real life? Whether it be temptation, whether it be something that was a part of your plan.
Sure.
How do you handle those circumstances?
Well, you got to have some kind of a greater thing to know that you're going to make it. Like, nothing happened. Being in prison taught me more than anything that bad things can happen and you have to be able to adjust. There's not a time when you're locked up or when you are in the midst of that kind of a struggle, because that's like the lowest, and sometimes it's the lowest point a man can go, where there's no help, there is no other option, there's only what you see around you, and you have to some kind of how be okay with this, even though this is not the life that you feel like you were designed for, the life that you were supposed to have happen to you. You know what I mean? This is not on the script. This wasn't in the plan at all, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you're here gives you the opportunity to develop that plan, right? And being there, you have to understand that bad things can happen, but what will you do after it? I had a coach, John Baxter. No, it was Coach Pat Hill. Coach Hill told me, Ramsey, your life is a book. Every day that you wake up, you get to write a page in that book. Right now, you're having bad things happen to you, but you could turn the page and you can start writing again because the story's not over yet.
So even your business ventures, you had written that in your plan?
Yes.
Or that you were going to create a business?
Yes, I had initially. I think I did. I said that I was going to do a janitorial service.
Did you plan for the pandemic?
No, I said I wasn't like Nostradamus with it.
I wanted to see if you knew. I
wasn't that looped in.
There will be a pandemic.
I said that I would have a janitorial service because this is what I did. I did a 3-tier plan, and my plan was for people that were and being in prison. So now you get the full scope of people, right, that you're around. You're around the person that is a felon because they have no other opportunity, no other option, and can't see a way out other than just committing crime, right? I can't figure out how to get my own, so I'm gonna take yours. That's the basic level. Then there was like people that were a little sharper, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be a criminal forever. I've kind of like gotten into this lifestyle, and this is what I'm doing.
What's on the other side of the spectrum?
And then you have kind of like the 3rd tier, which were people like me were misfits. Like, that's more like your white collar crimes, the folks that are like.
What were you in for?
DUIs.
DUIs.
Yeah.
So like the nonviolent offenses.
Right. Nonviolent offenses. Like I didn't
And then what did that teach you? Like seeing the whole spectrum. What did that teach you?
It taught me that there's a place for everybody, right? So when I designed my plan for business, I said I'm going to do something that people at the entry level can do. That's the janitorial service. You don't need to have a lot of skills to do that. You can get in. We can teach a monkey how to change a trash can. Then from there, we were going to do a restaurant, and we haven't started on that. Only because when I got out and got into the restaurant business, I learned from the management side that the restaurants are only competing for a 10% margin. You can bust your hump as hard as you want to, unless you have like the like ultra luxury prices. You're only competing, like your best day can be 15% margin on your sales, on your gross, right? So
that's tough.
Right. I'm not like the blood, sweat, and tears that you have to put into it, how quick fads come and go. You could be good today, not there tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, so with that being the case, I was like, is that going to be my entry-level business? Probably not.
So now when you look at Clean Freak Janitorial, is that the main organization?
No, this is kind of going back to, where we were conceptualizing or where I was conceptualizing. What I wanted to do was overarching banner, Farrell Management Group, and have that be the umbrella, and all of the businesses, one how or another, would be under Farrell Management Group.
What's Farrell?
Just a concept, and what that gave us was the opportunity to have each different piece of the puzzle be independent and stand alone, but still under the umbrella, kind of like Berkshire Hathaway is, and it owns multiple businesses under its umbrella.
So is Clean Freak when we list your businesses, is Clean Freak number one, or is Clean Freak? So it's number one, but it's underneath the Farrell Management Group.
Not currently, but yes.
But that's the vision.
That's the vision.
That's what you're creating. So you're creating your staple business or your flagship business, which is like, hey, this is gonna fund the rest of the vision as we grow.
It has. Because, and again, not resting on our laurels, like I told you, we tripled business during the pandemic, which gave us a lot more like cash flow than we had previous. We got involved with a little bit of mentorship, and then did our due diligence and purchased our first 18-wheeler for S&F Advance, and that's where that kicked off from.
Gotcha. So when we look at Clean Freak, we're a social media marketing agency, and we talk about marketing for small businesses. So how have you used social media to market Clean Freak?
We do a lot of content, and my wife to be, my fiance, is like amazing in her content creation. Very particular about what exactly we put out there, what image we put out there, even as it relates to how we wrap our vehicles, the uniforms that we have.
So you're branded all over.
Yeah.
Brandon, and how important is branding to you?
Very serious. And at one point, we were kind of like a kaleidoscope because I like colors. I think that being bright and flashy was a thing, but we had to realize that in order to be $1 million company, you have to be $1 million company. You don't see Walmart being different than Walmart. You don't see Best Buy trying out a bunch of different things. Best Buy is who they are. You know what I mean? So you understand that if you can study and follow the staples that are already in place, success leaves cues. Success leaves clues. So you follow those clues, you can be successful as they are.
And as we wrap up, how can people, if they have a business and they're looking for janitorial services, are you around the country or are you just in Nevada?
We're now just Nevada. We just got a pretty big deal to be all over Vegas, and we're looking to expand into Reno within the next, I'd say, 6 months to a year. We want to establish ourselves there because a lot of our clients currently have operations in other places. So if we can put together enough of a conglomerate to move or where it makes sense for us, we'll definitely step out.
For those business owners who have businesses, who have facilities here in Las Vegas, how can they reach out to you? How can they get in contact?
You can reach us at 725-214 6589. That's our office number. We're on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can reach me at r_Venner on Instagram. Our Instagram for Clean Freak Janitorial is Clean Freak Janitorial.
Awesome. And if you're in a place where you're looking to grow and scale your business, this is the best place to be. AudateMedia, where you learn from business owners just like Ramsey, who's growing and scaling their business. Once again, thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate your time.
Right on.
Thank you, sir.
Tune in every week to discover new stories, new businesses, and new ideas.